It's mid-December, and you know what that means. It's time for the holiday-themed episode of Glee! And after last week's episode, we could all probably use a good dose of holiday cheer. Unfortunately, this episode didn't quite hit the mark as well as previous holiday episodes. I asked you on Twitter, what 2 words would you use to describe this week's episode, Glee Actually? And this is what you had to say. Some of the feedback was positive, going so far to say that this episode was heartwarming. Some of you were completely indifferent. The 2 words that best describe this Glee episode for some: didn't watch, watched Grey's Anatomy. And then some of you just were not pleased. Endless nightmare? Where's Santana? Hot mess. Bad decisions. And my personal favorite, Gap commercial. You know, at the end when they're all wearing cream and wool and yeah. In actuality, Glee Actually isn't all that very much like Love Actually, except for the fact that it takes different vignettes and pieces them together. So the first vignette really focuses on Artie. Now, I have to admit, I've never really been the biggest Artie fan. I always kind of found him to be kind of, I don't know, a jerk. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Kevin McHale, as an actor, did a really, really lovely job with this. I really loved what he did with Feliz Navidad. It was really fun. He played around with the melody. It's probably my favorite contemporary rendition of that particular Christmas song. So good job, Kevin McHale, on that. Now, while this sequence, unfortunately, brought us a very, very dead Quinn, it did, however, bring us a very sexy, bespectacled Rachel Berry. Want to see my Dewey Decimal System? Or should I say, a Doomy Decimal System? This also brings us the triumphant return of Rory as Artie's Christmas angel. I'm curious, dear viewers, how do you feel about the fact that Rory is really no longer on the show? Do you miss him? Do you think they could have done more with his character? On to the second vignette, which takes place solely in New York. Now, this one is actually probably, writing-wise, the strongest of the 5. Kurt is decorating a tree. Rachel is walking around without pants. So, you know, a typical day in the Hummleberry loft. But as Glee viewers, we get the best present we could possibly ask for Christmas and or Hanukkah. We get a visit from Burt Hummel. And he comes bearing ornaments shaped like apples and beautiful pine trees and horrible news. I swear on the grave of Quinn Fabray, if anything happens to Burt freaking best dad in the world, Hummel, I will lose it. It's Christmas and Hanukkah time in Lima and New York too. And you know what that means, a pastiche episode from you-know-who. About all the things that matter around the holidays. Like love and friendship and therapy and Mayans. So anyways, if there's one thing Glee should
Now you can do anything you want with your show, and God knows you do, but your ratings we will pummel if you go and off Burt Hummel. No, 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 let it snow, but don't be bad to Kurt's dad. No, no, no. So on a positive note though, us cleaners out there do get to have a couple of really nice scenes between Kurt and Blaine. You know, both actors are doing a really tremendous job portraying this situation. It's complicated and it's difficult and it's very believable. And you can't blame Kurt for, you know, maybe being a little apprehensive, not 100% full of Christmas cheer when he sees Blaine standing there in all his cute Blaine-ness on a pair of ice skates, no less. And of course, this brings us to our Christmas duet between the boys, White Christmas. You know, I have to say I wasn't completely thrilled with this arrangement. I liked what was going on. I liked the skating. I thought it was filmed really well. It was blocked really well, but I didn't like how high Kurt's harmony was. He obviously has always had a great upper range, but I like how they've been using his lower range lately. The third vignette brings us a focus on the Puckerman brothers. And apparently, Noah Puckerman is a ghost that roams the halls of McKinley now because he is always there. Why can't Santana be a ghost? He was cute. A little meh. Felt a little forced. They do a really nice, rousing version of Hanukkah O Hanukkah on the Paramount Studios lot. A nice part about this, though, is we do get to finally meet the Puckerman brothers' mothers, one of whom is the amazing Aisha Tyler, who was woefully underused. The fourth vignette centers around the newly minted Bram relationship and the apparent impending Mayan apocalypse. Always an uplifting Christmas tale. Is anyone else kind of genuinely concerned about the combined stupefying powers of Brittany and Sam together? It's almost like it's trying to be cute, but it's slightly alarming. So what would you do if you genuinely thought the world was going to end in just a few days? Well, if you're Brittany and Sam, you spend all your college savings on lavish gifts, you tell your friends how much they suck, you sing Jingle Bell Rock, and you get married. Like you do. Speaking of Jingle Bell Rock, what a great use of the Cheerios. I'm particularly fond of the Cheerio with the short blonde hair. We've seen her a few times now, and I will be very impressed, viewers, if any of you can figure out the name of that actress/dancer. I'm not sure if she knows, but she is popular with the lesbians. In fact, I even think I came across some fan fiction where she was featured. Impressive. It was a little troubling to watch Brittany and Sam tie the knot, considering they've only been dating for, you know, an episode. To hear Sam referring to them as soulmates, and it all seems like an awful lot real quick. But then again, impending doom can make people do all sorts of things. But they wake up on the 22nd in their tank tops and jammies and realize that the world has not ended, and Coach Beast breaks it to them that they are not officially married either, and thus ends their vignette. And the last vignette focuses on, of course, Sue Sylvester and newbies Millie and Marley Rose. Usually in every Christmas episode, Sue gets to have some sort of redeeming storyline, and this is no different. And thankfully, the writers have decided not to brush any of Marley's eating disorder storyline under the rug, and they address it head-on in this episode. Unfortunately for Marley, therapy costs some major dinero, and unfortunately that means no prezzies under the tree. In fact, they can't even afford the tree. So you're just getting therapy and that's it. But fortunately for Marley, it's that time of year, that one time of year where that tiny, tiny little bit of Sue Sylvester's heart that hasn't yet turned to coal takes over and gets her to do things that are uncharacteristically generous and kind. So now there's money for therapy, there's a freaking tree, there's sweaters from the mall. And what better way to thank Sue Sylvester than by having the Glee Club, which she loathes and despises, sing her a Christmas song. And New Directions gets all suited up in their cable knit sweaters and their monochromatic pants sets, hats, and actually deliver the best number of the evening. Have yourself a Merry Little Christmas. This was a beautiful number and tied up all the loose ends and vignettes really, really nicely together. Had some nice solos from Marley and Puck, and just kind of ended the rather dark Christmas episode, holiday episode, on a really positive note. Glee will be on hiatus until January, and so will the vlog, but in the meantime, I want to wish you the happiest and safest of holidays. And also, please take care of yourselves. The flu is back, and it's a real bitch this year, so stay well, and I will see you in the new year with new episodes of Dana Does It With